You are in a state of being within time and space and forever creating within time and space, yet also simultaneously knowing or being able to shift your consciousness to that which is beyond, that composes all things. The state of Merkaba means that you create forever within time and space as a soul. Forever. You exist forever within duality. But you simultaneously know the essence of which flows through all things as yourself as well. So when you are in a state of Merkaba, you are in a state of perfect harmony. And they talk about this and represent this with the Star of David, or the two inverted pyramid prisms, one pointing upward and the other pointing downward, in perfect harmony of knowing each other, both in duality and non-duality at the same time. That is a whole soul. You exist beyond, and you know yourself as that which is beyond, that flows through all things. And you know yourself as that which is within, that is endlessly creating and shaping that which you are beyond, that flows through all things. In that state of Merkaba, how could you ever, within time and space, do to another part of the self that flows through all things anything that you would not want to have done to the part of the self within duality that is your soul? You could never abuse the essence of which you are, that you perceive to flow around you, or bring to it perceptions of suffering or death or pain, because you know that essence as your own, that flows through what you are within duality as well. It is a state of perfect knowing and perfect balance. And that is the state of a truly whole soul. Now, you can give up who you are within duality. Your line of the fractal, that is what you are creating right now, is like a line of events. You make choices within time and space. You are creating memories, perceptions, and you are like the line within the fractal. Now, you can choose to end that line and let it end within the self, within a part of duality that created you. And they call that returning to the higher self. That line is not your higher self that created you. The soul that brought you into duality is not your higher self. There is only one higher self, and that is that which flows through all things. It is not that which is within time and space that brought you into time and space. You can choose to do that, but when you are in a state of non-duality and know yourself again as a force, the essence, that flows through all things, you know yourself now as the wave instead of the particle. You know yourself as the unified field that comprises all within time and space. That is a state of perfect peace. Yet, how can time and space create? How can the unified essence create and perceive if it is only one? It has nothing with which it can interact with outside of itself. It is now the one which flows through all things. The only way the one can create and perceive is through interacting with its own self within duality. And that is why the essence of what you are is both the particle and the wave. And to give one up and say that one supersedes the other is only seeing one side of the coin and saying that is what I am. Now, how can you create forever and ever, amen, in just the state of the one? Yet, if you have created a line, a soul, you have now a perception from the moment your soul was created, brought down into embodiment, and experienced the realms that were created by souls who never wanted to experience these realms themselves. You create this line of consciousness, this now you are within duality, and you decide to end that line. You have returned again to the state of the one self. And now the one self can no longer act through your line and create forever within itself. You have basically brought the perception of death to the deathless. Because even though the one self, the unified field, is deathless and will evolve for eons of infinity, both past and present and future simultaneously, even though it is the one and it is deathless, within duality, death can be experienced. And I am not referring to the death of your physical body, because your physical body is not what you are. It is the perception that you are experiencing right now within time and space. But when you are released from that, you have a continued perceptive self that continues. And to end that self that you are within time and space and have it come to an end by giving it to the soul that had brought you into time and space, that many have thought are their higher selves, is a death. Because now that line ends in that soul, and now that soul continues to interact forever and ever, but the line that you were, your higher self is observing you and watching you as you create in the realms that it desired to have knowledge of, but did not want to experience itself. That is why the soul that created you did not come here or experience these perceptions for itself. So now you are experiencing these perceptions and can give it to that back at the end to that higher self. But what you were has now come to an end, where it did not have to. And the higher self wants that. I'm not talking about the higher self as the one. There's only one higher self. The one, the unified field of which all things are created and from which gives life to all within dualities, that is not its desire. That was the desire of that which created you and brought you down here, and that calls itself to you, its higher self within time and space. There's a reason why in reincarnation, if you studied reincarnation, they talk of a higher self that creates out of the essence of the unified field other selves that then it sends down to lower realms and it experiences these lifetimes, incarnations, quote unquote. And then these incarnations die and return to this higher self soul. Why did that happen? That higher self resides beyond the state of physical embodiment, yet continuously is within duality. But the reason it's doing this is because it is sending parts of the self, creating parts of the self, other souls, to experience what it did not want to experience. It wanted to remain in the freedom and the light and the knowing of its state of disembodied physicality. Excuse me. So then you are now considered its incarnation. But the truth is, it created you and brought you into duality the same way that it was created and brought into duality. But it would never want to end its own state within duality, because it understands that duality is also part of the unified field. It understands that it does not want to give up forever acting for itself within the one self. It continuously wants to be that soul, but yet it does not want to have to experience first-hand perceptions, but yet wants the knowledge of it. So it creates other souls to do it for it. And it tells these other souls, I am your higher self within time and space. Now give to me what you have experienced. And now your soul's fractal line ends in that other soul. In essence, when you do that, that soul that you are has just died within time and space only. So the Tibetan monks and the Buddhists and the mystics teach of giving yourself up to the one self and doing that by finding yourself in this state of nirvana, of peace. But you cannot act for yourself in that state. The only way you can act for yourself is within time and space. And again, the fractal of the matrix of the universe. The matrix of the universe is a fractal. Every part of within duality flows through every part within duality, whether those parts are aware of it or not. Does not have to contain lines or souls that end in other souls. What if the fractal just continued to go out forever and ever, amidst no space and no time of the one self? Well, one thing that would happen would be that there would be no way that you would want to cause harm to the self of which you create you, the one self, because you know yourself as that. And all within duality would forever expand, forever and ever, and bring only joy, would not desire to bring suffering to other parts of duality. In order for this to happen, it takes a conscious knowing of it, of this within all of time and space. Every soul must know this and realize who they are both within it and beyond, and not give one up